I'm Leo London, welcome back to my channel, and this is a very special video. Not only is it my brand new Endymion deck profile, the mighty master of magic himself returns, but I'm going to explain the Greek lore behind Endymion. Some of you may not know, but Endymion, the mighty master of magic, is based on a Greek myth, and how all the cards in the archetype, Selene, Servant, Magister, Reflection, are all tied to the myth, and even how Mighty Master's negation works is tied to the myth. And I can't wait to break not only the deck down, but the myth down. And if you like this video, like, comment, subscribe. Tell me what your favorite myth is. What's your favorite story? Do you like Norse gods, Greek gods? Do you like the story of Achilles? Whatever it is, tell me in the comments below. Let me know. Share your childhood stories with me, like I'm about to share my childhood stories with you. So let's get right into it with the myth and the deck profile. Okay, first up, we have the big boy himself, Endymion, the mighty master of magic. Now, there's two versions of the story. One where he is a king and one where he is a shepherd. We're going to go with him being a king because that's the one I was told as a child. Not only was he a king, but he was one of the kindest and gentlest kings to his people. He would never ask them to do anything that he wasn't willing to do himself, so he would often be seen tending the fields with his own people, with his servants, things like that. He would never ask one of his people to fight in his place, which actually comes into play later with his negation effect. So his negation effect is if he has a card with a spell counter on it, like let's say Magister, he will bounce it to your hand, thus protecting that person and negating the effect. So it's like Endymion is not letting the Magister fight in his place, which is exactly what he would do in the myth. He wouldn't allow somebody to fight in his stead. So I thought that was really cool. I'm not sure if they did that intentionally, but it's a nice little detail that I really enjoyed. Now, the Magister of Endymion was his teacher. He's the one who guided him and taught him to be that way. The servant of Endymion, or the servants who loved him so, they loved him so much because he was always there with them, willing to do whatever task he asked them to do himself alongside them. He was never put himself above his servants. He was always nice and kind to his servers. And you should too. You should always be nice to your servers. Tip well. Be nice. They deal with a lot of crap. And then one reflection of Endymion. Now this one is kind of cool. If you look, she has her eyes covered. That's because Endymion didn't believe in vanity. And in his castle, there was never a mirror. So he could never look at himself because he didn't believe in vanity and he never wanted to be staring at his own reflection. Up next, we have two copies of Mythical Beast Master Cerberus. In Greek mythology, Cerberus was the guardian of the gates of hell. He was Hades' dog, who had 3 heads. This one only has 1 head, but he's the same namesake. His role in the deck is you pop him in scale and he searches out a Jackal King. The reason I don't have him at 3 is because I don't like it when he gets ashed and locked in scale. It's very hard to deal with and annoying. I also don't have it at 3 because I don't want to see more than 1 in my hand, as you can't Pendulum summon him out because his level is too high. So you don't want too many in your hand at any one time. Up next, we have one of the linchpins of the deck, the Mythical Beast Jackal King. Now, to my knowledge, the Jackal King is not based on any Greek mythology. Yeah, he seems to be the only one that's not. And his monster effect is very good. His negation is one of the cornerstones of the deck, protecting you from Nibiru, from hand traps. And then his scale effect special summons out the Cerberus. So you would use the Cerberus, search the Jackal King, put the Jackal King in scale, then special summon the Cerberus. Then Pendulum summon out the Jackal King when you Pendulum summon. Up next, Mythical Beast Garuda is actually from Hindu mythology, not Greek. I don't know its story, but it's definitely Hindu. Then there's Mythical Beast Medusa. This one ended up being so much better than I thought it was going to. Being able to special summon a spellcaster from grave and itself from scale, it's basically a better Black Fang magician with its special summon effect, and then its monster effect is the same as Black Fang magicians and cuts your opponent's attack in half, so you can use it to surprise your opponents. Now, the myth of Medusa is probably a lot better known, as Perseus slew Medusa using a shield given to him by Athena to turn Medusa to stone and then behead her in her sleep. What people don't know is how Medusa was formed. Medusa was a beautiful woman until she did the nasty with Poseidon in the temple of Athena, and it was actually Athena who cursed this poor woman into becoming Medusa that we know today. Harsh punishment for doing the nasty at a church. Mythical beast Basilisk is also makes an appearance in Greek mythology. Except if I'm not mistaken, it's Basilikos, something like that. He has a breath that will turn you to stone and a gaze that will cause paralysis. So very scary. In the deck, he's a draw. He's probably the least important of the mythical beasts because of the hand trap ability of this one, the special summoning effect of this one, and as I already explained, the synergy of these two. Then there's Baby Jackal. Baby Jackal, you take 3 counters off, and then special summon out a Jackal King or a Master Cerberus. This card going second is very, very good, but going first, you're going to want to put out a Jackal King. 2 copies of Magician's Souls, and before everybody asks, what's a budget alternative? Jester Confit is the budget alternative. The special summon helps you get into Crowley. That's basically all it does. 1 Spellbook Magician of Prophecy, 1 Spellbook of Secrets. Now there was 1 card in my order that didn't come through from Galaxy. Spellbook of Knowledge. So this card is Spellbook of Knowledge. They just didn't have any when I went to order it. And then we're going to get into the rest of the spells. 3 copies of Pot of Desires. You guys know what Desires does. Banish 10, draw 2. It's a +1. It's very good. It is not a -9. Don't at me. 3 copies of Magician's Restage. This will special summon out your Blue Boy or your Magician's Souls to be reused and go up into Selene, or more importantly, search out the Magician's Right Hand. This is your Super Poly target, not target, Super Poly defense, your Duck Ruler No More defense. Yeah, it's very important that you search that out as often as possible. 3 copies of Spell Power Mastery. This searches out your Endymion usually. So you're usually searching the Servant or the Mighty Master with this card. 2 copies of Mythical Institution. I was running it at 3, but found I would often get 2 in my hand, and that's just no bueno. 1 copy of Terraforming. 1 copy of Magical Citadel of Endymion. This would be his castle. 1 copy of Secret Village of the Spellcasters. Again, a way to prevent your opponent from using any spells at all. Never mind stopping just Dark Ruler No More. Shut them all off completely. This card is a blowout sometimes just by itself. 1 Upstart Goblin. 1 Instant Fusion because it's limited, and then 1 Called by the Grave because it's limited. Now these both serve the same purpose to help you play through hand traps. Now unfortunately you're only allowed to use these 2. One of them should be at 3 for sure, because we're dealing with 14 hand traps and only 2 cards to stop them. It's really not fair. Yeah, but that is the deck profile, and we're going to go into the extra deck now. Okay, now we're going to get into the extra deck. 1 Gravity Controller. This is mainly so when you get your Master Cerberus in your extra monster zone, you're able to get it out and then continue on utilizing the arrow of Gravity Controller. 1 Daybreaker, the Shining Magical Warrior. Just an easy link too if you've already drawn your spellbook engine and you don't need to go into Crowley. You can also use its pop effect to pop the restage and search that right hand. 1 Crowley to get to your spellbook engine. 1 Cross Sheep for your Vortex play. 2 Selene, Queen of the Master Magicians. Now, she is also part of the original lore or myth of Endymion, as Selene was the Titan goddess of the moon, and her chariot is what pulled the moon across the sky. And she fell in love with Endymion because of his kindness, his beauty, because he's a Greek sexy beast, as we all are. And she married him and had many children. And Zeus found out about this. And the really ironic thing is, Zeus got really mad about it and decided to punish Selene by having her lover, Endymion, fall into an eternal sleep, a coma. That way she could always watch over him and have to look at him all the time, but could never be with him, because Zeus is a prick. One copy of Appaloosa, Bow of the Goddess, one copy of Borosaur Dragon, and then we go into our Xyz monsters that come up rather frequently, actually. One Gaga Cowboy, one Baguska, one Tornado Dragon, one Abyss Dweller, and then Absolute Dragon for your Vortex play, then one Ultimate Rare Odd Eyes Vortex Dragon. And if you want your own Ultimate Rare Odd Eyes Vortex Dragon, all you have to do is go to my Patreon, become a $5 or higher backer, and every month you're entered into a giveaway for a card valued at that $5 at least. And this month it is an Ultimate Rare Odd Eyes Vortex Dragon. So you can have your own. God, it's beautiful. And then rounding out the extra deck is the Millennium Eyes Restrict. Now we're going to get into the side deck, and then I'm going to show some potential options for the upcoming format once Phantom Rage has been released. I've split the side deck into two categories. Number one is the combo decks. You hit them with the Sphere mode, remove 3 of their problematic monsters, and they're gonzo. Dark Ruler no more, take care of those problematic monsters, and Artifact Lancia will make it much more difficult for them to get to those crazy boards, like Dragon Link dies to this. Dinos die to this, especially Dinos are hurt pretty hard by it. They won't be able to summon their UTC, which is a huge part of their core strategy. And then, for the back row decks, we have Denko Sekka, Harpy's Feather Duster, Red Reboot, and the surprise, Magician's Left Hand. You can swap this out for the right hand for trap-based decks, and believe me, it causes them a headache. Now I'm going to show you some other options you might want to consider. Now for some other options in the side deck. Now generally speaking, these are for most formats, but one in particular is for the next format. So Mystic Mine. You let them negate everything else in your hand, you drop the Mystic Mine, you watch them squirm. It's not fun, but it is fair. I know a lot of people want this card to be banned. I don't think it needs to be banned. I think that the people who are saying that just don't like it when their 14 negate boards get, screwed over by Mystic Mine. Or, their 15 hand traps don't work because you drew the Mystic Mine. Yeah, I think it's a necessary evil, and that also makes me sad. You could always use Kaijus to get rid of problematic monsters. Now, in the next format, it's not Max C, it is Flying C. Once they normal or special summon, you activate this card in your hand, special summon it to their field, and you say, no, 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 no Xyz summoning. Phantom Knights are dead. Zodiac are dead. Yes, they may be able to link it away into something, but still, that's going to disrupt their plays to a significant degree, and Phantom Knights may just die immediately on the spot. Now, these are mostly for when you're going second, which is generally what I want my side deck to include, because my deck is for going first. But just in case, you could always side in a Royal Decree against your trap opponent. You let them set all their traps, and then you just flip over the Royal Decree and say you don't get to use them. Summon limits, same thing. You do your combos. Once they start to combo, hit them with the summon limit and tell them they're not allowed to do it. And same thing with something like an anti-spell fragrance, in case, I don't know, you're against the striker matchup. So those are some other options for the upcoming format. In fact, most of them work even in this format. That's it for the deck list. So once again, tell me what your favorite stories are, your favorite myths, your favorite legends. Did you know about the lore of Endymion and the myth behind it? let me know in the comments below, and stay safe, everyone.